Chapter 1483. Oh, Qin Chu responded faintly. What happened? Did you two fight? We didn't fight, we got a divorce. Rick was glad that he didn't have time to drink the wine in his glass, or else he would have choked. Divorce? Are you kidding me? Rick's first reaction was that this was a joke. I'm not kidding, it's true. Why? Rick froze. Seeing Qin Chu's serious expression, it didn't seem like he was joking. Qin Chu held his wine glass and leaned against the wine cabinet behind him. Then he sighed slightly. It has to do with Mion's background. You found out about her background? I didn't, Hua Xiqian told me. Hua Xiqian. This time Rick was even more surprised. Yeah. Qin Chu nodded, and then he briefly explained Hua Min's background to Rick. He picked out some key points. Because the information was burned, he could only say that Rick recounted it. Rick was just as shocked as Qin Chu when he heard what Hua Mian said. I can't believe that Hua Min is that woman's sister, and I definitely didn't expect her father to be. I didn't expect it either. But it's such a secretive thing, we can't find out. How did Hua Xiqian find out? Also, he secretly planted a force in Dongtao town. Hua Min's father isn't that careless. Rick used to think that Hua Xiqian wasn't a simple person, but this was too amazing. Even the powerful Rick family overseas couldn't find out, but Hua Xiqian knew about it. And he knew about it a long time ago. How amazing. I didn't ask Hua Xiqian about it, but I'm guessing he might have some mysterious connection with that organization. Do you remember? Should we investigate the 6 years Hua Xiqian studied in Germany? Yes, they're all blank. This doesn't make sense. No one can't find anything after staying abroad for 6 years. Rick suddenly remembered that when he told Qin Chu about this matter, he felt that it was quite strange. You suspect that he's also a member of that organization? Rick was slightly surprised. It's hard to say. There's no evidence. What do you plan to do now? Let's get a divorce first. What I'm afraid of the most right now is that Mion's identity will be exposed, and she'll be killed. You know, Mion is different from her sister. That girl grew up under the gun, and she's used to it. But my Mion, in the past 24 years, other than being a professional doctor, she hasn't learned any skills to protect herself. I definitely won't take that risk, not at all. But, are you willing? Rick felt sorry for his brother. He always knew how much Qin Chu loved Hua Min. Asking him to initiate a divorce and be cruel to her until the end was too much for him. I don't want to, more than anyone else. But there's no other way. Hua Xiqian, you should know that he's capable of anything. I'm always at a disadvantage against him because I have a bottom line. But he doesn't. Yes, he's killed enough people to die 100 times over. Rick knew Hua Xiqian's methods of killing people with different blood types. Qin Chu poured himself another glass of liquor and downed it in one gulp. He only felt a ball of fire burning in his heart. Although the divorce was forced, it was a delaying tactic. He had to deal with Hua Xiqian first. Then he could slowly explain to Mion. No matter what, as long as he was alive, there would be hope. Hua Min didn't receive a call from Qin Chu the entire night. In the end, she couldn't take it anymore and fell into a deep sleep. At 6 a.m., she was awakened by the rapid ringing of her phone. Slightly. What's up? Mion, did you see the news headlines on your phone? Not yet, what's up? Take a look for yourself, Jiang Xiaowei said in a heavy tone. Hua Min returned to the call and clicked on the front page of the news. The big headline read, GK Corporation President Qin Chu announces divorce with his wife Hua Min. Hua Mian felt her brain explode, as if it had collapsed at some point. It announced to the world that they were divorced. Chapter 1484. Hua Min was dumbfounded. She thought that Qin Chu wouldn't tell anyone. After all, it was between the two of them. Now that he announced it, what was the meaning of this? Hua Min's face turned slightly pale. Mion, are you still there? Jiang Xiaowei's voice came from the phone. I'm here. Are you okay? Slightly. I was divorced. What do you mean? I was forced into a divorce. I didn't want it. I don't know what's wrong with Qin Chu. Why would he do something like this? Ahem, did someone cast a spell on Mr. Qin? Jiang Xiaowei was shocked beyond words. I don't know, I really don't know. At this moment, Huamin couldn't stay calm anymore. She had lost the ability to think. Mian, calm down first. I don't think Mr. Qin would do this for no reason. Maybe he set this up to deal with Huaxiqian. Huamin didn't say anything. Mian? Slightly, I'll talk to him later. I need to ask him. After speaking, Huamin got up and quickly changed her clothes and washed her face. When she went downstairs, she saw her mother preparing breakfast downstairs. Mian, when did you come back last night? How come I didn't know? I came back in the middle of the night. You were already asleep, so I didn't wake you up. Oh, come and have breakfast then. Yang Meirong didn't know much about the things on her phone, so she didn't see the headlines and didn't know what happened. I'm not eating, I need to go out for a bit. Huamin hurriedly left the house with her bag. A few minutes after she left, Yang Meirong was about to sit down for breakfast. Just then, she heard a piece of news on TV. The sweet-looking female host said with a serious expression, according to the latest news, GK's president, Mr. Qin Chu, announced at 5 a.m. today that he and his wife, Huamin, are ending their relationship and dividing their assets. After Yang Meirong heard this, the chopsticks in her hand fell to the ground. Patter, how could this be? Qin Chu and Mian, divorced? They even divided their assets? Didn't they just meet their in-laws a few days ago? They even talked about the betrothal gifts. Plus, Qin Chu liked Mian so much. How could he? Huamin's phone kept ringing along the way. Many people were asking her about the divorce. Lingling and Gao Ran also asked, but she didn't reply to any of them. Right now, she just wanted to find Qin Chu and ask him about it. This news had become the hottest topic at the moment. It became the top gossip on WeChat and Weibo. Many people began to guess the reason for Qin Chu and Huamian's divorce. Some people said that there was a third party involved. Some said that Huamin and GK were going their separate ways because of GK's crisis. Others said that this was just a publicity stunt for GK's stock market to recover. Maybe it was a fake divorce. After all, the parties involved didn't release a statement. Huamin took a taxi to GK, but Yang stopped her at the door of the president's office. A young lady, you can't go in. The president isn't inside. I don't believe you. He really isn't. Yang actually sympathized with a young lady. He didn't know why the president would make such a terrible decision. However, he did receive orders not to let Huamin in if she came. Get out of my way. I have to see him today. I need to ask him some things in person. Huamin pushed Yang away and barged into the office. Chapter 1485. In the end, he found that it was really empty inside. A young lady, the president really didn't come to work. He's not in the company. If you don't believe me, you can search the entire building. Assistant Yang said helplessly. Then, where is he right now? Huamin asked in a hoarse voice. To be honest, I don't know either. The president called me last night and told me about today's work. Then he disappeared. I can't get through to him. After Huamin heard what Assistant Yang said, he picked up his phone and dialed Qin Chu's number non-stop. Unfortunately, the number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable. No one knew where he went. Huo Corporation headquarters, Huaxiqian was eating a sumptuous breakfast in his office. He was in a great mood. President Hua, do you have any special plans for today? Nope, Huaxiqian smiled proudly. He was very happy with this result. He knew that as long as it had something to do with Huamin, Qin Chu would do it without hesitation. 24 hours? Huaxiqian gave him 24 hours. However, it only took him 12 hours for GK to officially announce the divorce. Huaxiqian's efficiency was truly surprising. His little sister must be very sad right now, right? But it didn't matter, all of this would pass. He would definitely make her happy again. Inside the secret room on the top floor of Seductive Fox. Didn't I tell you not to act rashly? You'll alert the enemy. Qin Chu's voice was calm, without a hint of blame. However, Rick felt a bit guilty. I didn't know he was that good. After Qin Chu left his home last night, Rick sent people to assassinate Huaxiqian. However, the assassination failed, and none of the people he sent returned. Needless to say, Huaxiqian wasn't that easy to deal with. He's not powerful. It's just that the power behind him, or rather, the person behind him is very powerful. Otherwise, why do you think he didn't leave any traces after killing so many people? Yeah, I'm curious too. Whether it's Huamin, Hua Zhenghai, Jiang Linyue, or the people we sent to investigate Huamin's background, none of them seem to know anything. That's why I said we shouldn't be so rash. We must have a thorough plan to deal with him. Sometimes, you think too much of our opponents. Qin Chu said word by word. Rick's way of doing things was cold, but he wasn't that calm. He was more direct in his thinking. Anyone who stands in my way shall die. Therefore, after what happened last night, he wanted to kill Hua Xiqian directly. He had underestimated Hua Xiqian. Qin Chu was right. If Hua Xiqian was so simple, he would not be so arrogant today. From what he knew about Huamin's background, he must have a very powerful force behind him. Also, what did Hua Xiqian do during the 6 years he studied abroad in Germany? Why was it blank? Why couldn't they find anything? There were too many questions. Now, the 2 top-notch assassins that Rick had sent out had never returned. This made him re-evaluate Hua Xiqian's power and shrewdness. The serial car accident that Song Yisher had set up before was a piece of cake. They couldn't even hurt a hair on Hua Xiqian's head. Qin Chu was right. Sometimes, one shouldn't think of their opponents as pigs. He still had to remember the lesson of carelessness and failure. What about you? What do you mean? Are you going to hide here forever? Can you not see Huamin for the rest of your life? Rick looked at Qin Chu and asked, I just can't face her. My heart hurts. Qin Chu felt like his heart was bleeding at the thought of Huamin. So you have to think of a way to deal with Hua Xiqian. Otherwise, how can you guarantee that Huamin won't get hurt? Now that you've announced the divorce with such fanfare, it might be even more hurtful to her. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Rick was right. Now it was hurting Huamian. For the entire day, Huamin searched everywhere for Qin Chu, but to no avail. The company, South Hill Manor, the first hospital, he searched everywhere he could. Even Seductive Fox went, but they couldn't find a trace of Qin Chu. It was as if he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Evening, Huamin returned to Sky Blessing Court, exhausted. His mother immediately went up to him to ask about her. Min, what's going on between you and Qin Chu? What's going on? Huamin said in a daze. His voice was so soft that he almost couldn't hear himself. Chapter 1486. Yeah, what happened to you guys? Why did I see on TV that you guys are divorced? Yang Meirong was so anxious that she called Huamin all day. It was as if she couldn't hear her, or if she heard, she wouldn't pick up. Just then, Huamin came back to her senses. She smiled and wrapped her arms around her mother's neck. Mom, it's okay. We're actually faking our divorce. Qin Chu set it up. Set it up? Why would he do that? It's because of the company and our competitors. Anyway, don't worry about it. Oh, right, I booked a flight to New Zealand for you tonight. You can stay at Jixin's place for a while, and everything will be fine after this incident passes. Why do you want me to leave? Did something happen, Mion? Yang Meirong was even more worried when she heard that she had to fly to New Zealand tonight. No, it's just that Qin Chu and I have to deal with the bad guys who set us up. Those people have no bottom line and will kidnap our loved ones to threaten us. So, in order to not distract us, you should stay in New Zealand for a while. The scenery there is beautiful, and Jixin misses you a lot. I already told him, he's really looking forward to it. Is that really the case? Yang Meirong still felt uneasy. Of course, why would I lie to you? Do you want to stay and distract me? No, then it's fine. I'll help you pack. Let's go. Before her mother could say anything, Huamin immediately rushed into her mother's bedroom. She did talk to Jixin on the phone during the day and told him in a relaxed tone that this was her and Qin Chu's plan. They wanted to send her mother to New Zealand for a while. Jixin had always trusted his sister, so he didn't ask anything and immediately agreed. Huamian sent her mother to New Zealand that very night, and she was finally relieved. After all, she didn't want her family to suffer with her. If her mother saw her haggard appearance, she would be heartbroken. At 1 o'clock in the morning, Huamian drove her mother to the airport. Huamin turned on the radio by chance and heard two anchors teasing her about her divorce with Qin Chu. Female host: if I were Huamin, I'd be satisfied. They've only been married for less than a year, but she's already got more than 1 billion yuan. I heard that Qin Chu not only gave her several luxury cars and mansions, but also $1 billion in savings from a Swiss bank. My God, she won't even be able to spend it all in her next life. Huamin smiled sadly. Hi, yes, I've become a billionaire, but no amount of money can bring back the man I love, that's all. When they drove back to Sky Blessing Court, Huamin went upstairs to take a shower. When she returned to her bedroom, her WeChat exploded with messages. It was said that Qin Chu, who had never posted anything on Weibo before, had posted something 5 minutes ago. It was already 2:40 a.m., but he actually posted on Weibo at this time. Huamin hurriedly opened the Weibo app and clicked on Qin Chu's Weibo page. She saw the Weibo post. He wrote, "For the sake of husband and wife, in the past 3 lives, we were bound by fate. In this life, we are husband and wife. If we don't get along, it's just that we're enemies. If 2 people have different hearts, it's hard to reconcile. Therefore we have to be fair. I hope that my wife will comb her eyebrows and hair again after parting, so that she'll look more enchanting. She'll choose another high-ranking official as her husband, so that we can resolve our grievances and not hate each other. From now on, we'll part ways and live happily." Seeing this, Huamin burst into tears again. We'll part ways and live happily. Chapter 1487. She never knew that Qin Chu was so good at writing. He wrote such a beautiful farewell letter. That's really good. Huamin trembled as she held her phone tightly. Her tears fell like pearls from a broken necklace. Qin Chu had been on Weibo for a long time, but he had never posted anything. Today, he only posted one, and it was to announce his divorce. Now, the media didn't have to guess anymore. He had admitted it. Was his account hacked? That was impossible. Qin Chu was a high-level hacker. Who could hack his account? Huamin took a deep breath to calm herself down. She sent a private message to Qin Chu. Do you really have to do this? She knew he was online, but she waited for a long time, but he didn't reply. Huamin's heart sank again. A minute later, Huamin updated her Weibo. Sometimes, you think it's going to last forever, but in the end, you realize that a moment can change everything. Sometimes, you feel like it's hard to continue, and it's going to be a lifetime. Relationships aren't something that can be planned out. The person who is willing to give everything for you today may be a stranger tomorrow. It turns out that a lifetime is so long. It's so long that everything changes. Qin Chu and Huamin both admitted their marriage on Weibo. The entire Sea City was in an uproar. Su Yu, who hadn't said anything all this time, was in his private villa. He held his phone and looked at Huamin's Weibo post. His heart began to hurt again. Shouldn't he be happy that Huamin was getting a divorce? Why did he feel so heartbroken when he saw her Weibo post? The Huamin of today, the Huamin who could write something like this, must be in so much pain that she wanted to die, right? Su Yu typed 4 words in the private message box. Are you okay? Just as he was about to send it, he deleted it. He felt that what Huamin needed now was not comfort, but silence. Even if he did ask, so what? Huamin said that I was fine, but would he believe it? Huamin said that I wasn't good. How could he let her be good? This time, Su Yu, who had always been arrogant, was actually silent. Huamin had a sleepless night and sat alone until dawn. Sometimes, she really hoped that this was a nightmare. 6 o'clock in the morning. Jiang Shaowei and Zhu Lingling kept ringing the doorbell. After waiting for a long time, Huamin finally came downstairs to open the door. He wasn't as disheveled as they thought, nor was he as depressed as they thought. Huamin was wearing a white shirt with a navy blue bow tied at the collar. She looked very beautiful. Her face was very clean and she even had light makeup on. She even put on some blush. Min, are you okay? Zhu Lingling was about to cry. After such a big thing happened, it was useless for them to worry. They called Huamin countless times, but she refused to answer. They sent her WeChat and messages, but she didn't reply. In the end, the two of them hit it off and went to Sky Blessing Court. Luckily, she was home. Otherwise, They would think that she had done something stupid. I'm fine. Huamin smiled sadly and opened the door to let them in. Where's Uncle? Zhu Lingling glanced around but didn't see Huamin's mother. She went to New Zealand. When? Last night? You sent her away? Yeah. Huamin nodded. Then the three of them sat on the sofa and the atmosphere was very low. It was rare to be so depressed. Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling looked at each other and then asked, Mian, what happened between you and Qin Chu? Chapter 1488. To be honest, I don't know either. Didn't I tell you that I was really divorced? Mian forced a smile on her face. Then, why did Mr. Qin do this? It's almost your wedding, why did he have to do this? Zhu Lingling was furious. I don't know. Huamin lowered his head. Did you ask him why? Jiang Xiaowei asked quietly. I did, but he didn't want to tell me. But I know he must have his reasons. If he doesn't want to tell me, he doesn't want me to know, Huamin guessed. But what kind of person would make him do such a crazy thing? He actually announced your divorce. Oh my God, when I saw what he said on Weibo, I almost thought his account was hacked. All right, I think you should find a fortune teller and see if Mr. Qin was really cursed by someone or something. No, he's normal. Don't think too much. Huamin immediately denied this reason. Qin Chu's thoughts and logic were normal. He didn't seem to be controlled by someone. Then that's strange. You two? Didn't have a good talk? Jiang Xiaowei asked. He didn't give me a chance. Then do you have any plans? Jiang Xiaowei asked again. To be honest, I don't have any plans. Huamin's voice was hoarse. I also think you should talk to Mr. Qin. There's nothing a couple can't solve. There's no need to divorce. Zhu Lingling was also panicking. I want to, but he doesn't want to see me. He doesn't want to see you? This time, Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling asked in unison. Yeah, he's been avoiding me. He's not at the company or at home. I don't know how to contact him. I have an idea. I heard that he's going to appear in court this afternoon. The trial for Su Changji's case will start today. After Qin Chu is indicted, he'll appear in court as a suspect. If he loses, he'll be in trouble. Did he divorce you because of this? Zhu Lingling immediately realized what Jiang Xiaowei meant. No, this case is not difficult for him at all, Wang Yao said. Then let's go and see. We'll definitely see him outside the court. After a moment of silence, Huamin nodded. She really should see Qin Chu. Some things had to be said. She couldn't just leave him like this. At 4:00 p.m. that afternoon, Jiang Xiaowei's RV was parked outside the courthouse's entrance. In Huamin and Hua. After 10 minutes, Qin Chu's figure appeared. He was followed by his assistant, Yang. Anyways, the fact that Qin Chu was able to leave the courthouse safe and sound meant that he was fine. Huamin was relieved. She immediately got out of the car. She walked towards Qin Chu. Sir, a young lady is here, Yang reminded him. Qin Chu glanced at Huamin walking towards him. As expected, he steeled his heart and walked towards his Maybach. Then, he quickly opened the car door and got in. Huamin stood there awkwardly. A young lady? Sir has work to do in a bit. He's probably very busy. See you later. After saying this, Yang hurriedly got into the car as well, leaving Huamin standing there alone. Zhu Lingling got out of the car with a black scarf and put it on Huamin. What? He didn't see you? Let's go. Zhu Lingling grabbed Huamin's arm and was about to walk back. You guys go back first. Mian, you guys go back first. I'll wait here. Qin Chu, he'll come back. He won't leave me here. Chapter 1489. Huamin stood there and watched the Maybach drive away until it disappeared from her sight. No matter how Jiang Xiaowei and Zhu Lingling tried to persuade her, she wouldn't leave. She just stood there dumbly at the entrance of the courtroom. After dark, the northern nights were bitterly cold. In the end, Jiang Xiaowei had no choice but to call Su Yu. Lord Su, what is it? Can you come to the Supreme Court on Bibo Road? What's wrong? Huamin wants to talk to Qin Chu, but Qin Chu doesn't want to see her. She's been waiting here for more than an hour. I'm worried that she'll catch a cold. Can you come and talk to her? 3 seconds of silence. Su Yu replied, "You guys can go, leave this to me." Jiang Shaowei knew that Su Yu would definitely have a way. Qin Chu drove his Maybach back to the company. When Assistant Yang came in to deliver some documents, he saw that the president's expression was very scary. "Sir, should we go back and take a look? I saw a young lady standing there." "Shut up." "Yes." Assistant Yang didn't dare to say anything else. Qin Chu was in a very bad mood. He was silent for a while before he went downstairs again. This time, he drove a black Ford belonging to one of the company's employees. The car was parked on the side of the road 10 meters away. He saw Huamin, who was wearing a red cotton jacket, standing at the entrance like a rock, not moving at all. Qin Chu's heart ached again. He opened the car door and was about to persuade her to go home when he saw a high-profile black Lamborghini parked next to Huamin. He closed the door and sat back in the car. Occasionally, snowflakes would fall in March. Huamin's hair and eyelashes were covered in snow. Only a touch of red was left in the cold wind. Holding a black umbrella, Su Yu stood behind Huamian and held it up for her. Huamin raised his head and looked at the umbrella above his head. He was pleasantly surprised. She turned around and was pleasantly surprised. "I knew you would come back." When she saw the person behind her clearly, she was instantly filled with disappointment. "The snow is too heavy. If you continue like this, you will turn into a snowman." Su Yu smiled. "Why you here? When I was driving by, I saw an idiot standing here. I thought it was a new road sign in Sea City. So it was you." Huamin's lips twitched, but she didn't know what to say. "Su Yu, You know that I'm divorced?" "Yes, I saw the news in your Weibo. I want to see him. There are some things I want to say to him face to face, so don't try to persuade me to leave." "I won't. I believe you have your reasons for waiting." "Okay, then you can go." "No, I think the scenery here is great. I'll look at mine, you wait for yours." Su Yu held the umbrella and looked at the cross in the distance, stubbornly saying this. "You are really stubborn." Huamin tilted his head and looked at Su Yu. "Same here." Huamin and Su Yu continued to stand outside the courtroom like this for 6 hours. Until 11 p.m., there were very few cars and pedestrians on the road, but they were still standing there. Su Yu's cotton jacket had already been put on by Huamin. Luckily, he was a soldier and had a strong body. Otherwise, he would have frozen to death. "Achoo, achoo." Su Yu was shivering from the cold. "Hurry up and go back." Huamin tried to persuade Su Yu. "If the idiot doesn't leave, I won't leave." Su Yu's attitude was firm. "You're the idiot." Huamin rolled his eyes at him. In the end, Huamin didn't want to be a burden to Su Yu, so he turned around and opened Su Yu's car door and got in. "Dr. Hua, what do you want me to do now?" Su Yu was surprised. "Idiot, take me home, I'm tired." Huamin finally stopped being stubborn and decided not to wait any longer. After the Lamborghini slowly drove away, Qin Chu walked out from behind a tree not far away. He threw the unfinished cigarette in his hand onto the ground and stepped on it. Huamian was finally willing to go back, and he could finally go back to the company with peace of mind. On the way back, Huamin was depressed and didn't say a word. "What do you want to eat later?" Su Yu asked softly. Chapter 1490. I don't want to eat anything. Huamin's voice was very soft. "Are you trying to go on a hunger strike?" Su Yu was still merciless. He knew that if he wanted to comfort Huamin, he would have to use his usual method of comforting her. "No. Then be a good girl and eat. That way, you'll have the energy to continue asking Qin Chu." Huamin remained silent. "What do you want to eat later?" Su Yu asked again. "Barbecue pork buns," Huamin answered straightforwardly. Su Yu's eyes flashed. He knew that this was the only way to persuade her. 10 minutes later, inside a Hong Kong restaurant, Su Yu ordered a table full of snacks. Huamin didn't say a word. Instead, he lowered his head and ate. He knew that right now, even if she ate delicacies, it would be like chewing wax. However, she still had to eat. After all, she needed to replenish her energy. After leaving the restaurant, Su Yu drove Huamin directly to Sky Blessing Court. At the door, Huamin said goodbye to him. Su Yu, don't thank me. Su Yu stopped Huamin from saying anything. I didn't do anything, I just accompanied you for a while and had a meal. This kind of thing isn't something that others can help with. Even if I'm omnipotent, I can't heal your heart. I don't have Granny Meng's soup to erase the past, and I'm not Doraemon who can conjure everything you want. I'm just a friend by your side. As long as you need me to appear, I'll always be by your side. So, don't think too much, don't thank me, be strong. You're so strong. I don't believe that anything can defeat you. After hearing this, Huamin smiled from the bottom of his heart for the first time in years. Okay, then I'll go in. Be careful on your way back. All right. Su Yu nodded. Then, Huamin turned around and went back into his room. Su Yu stood there blankly for 10 minutes. Actually, he didn't want to think about anything else at this time. He just wanted to spend more time with her. He knew that Huamin must be heartbroken right now. A woman who was willing to live and die with Qin Chu. She was not even afraid of death, but she was afraid of being abandoned by him. After Su Yu finished his cigarette, he glanced at the bedroom on the second floor before turning around and leaving the Lamborghini. The next morning another piece of news hit the headlines. A young lady of GK suspected of dating the boss of Imperial Star. Did she have an affair or have you become single? Some paparazzi took pictures of Su Yu's car entering and leaving Huamin's sky blessing court. Thus, rumors began to spread. Huasiqian was in his office. When he saw the news, he shook his head. Mian, you're not a good girl again. Why are you so close to Su Yu? Who does he think he is? You have to come back as soon as the war is over. I can't wait. Huamin didn't turn on his phone for a few days, so he didn't check Weibo or WeChat. Many people on Weibo criticized him, saying that Huamin cheated on him and caused his marriage to fall apart. The more they talked about it, in the end, a large group of reporters surrounded Qin Chu in front of GK and Huamin in front of Sky Blessing Court. Huamin didn't leave the house for an entire day. When Qin Chu went downstairs, he was blocked by reporters at the main entrance of GK. President Qin, can you tell us what happened last night? President Qin, did you divorce President Su after you found out that you had an illicit relationship with him? President Qin, a while ago, there was a similar case in the entertainment industry. A superstar's wife cheated on his manager, so he publicly announced his divorce. So, did you announce your divorce on Weibo because of this? President Qin, when did you find out that you had an affair with President Su? President Qin, will you remarry? President Qin, can you announce the division of your assets? I heard that your ex-wife took alimony of $1 billion from you? President Qin, do your parents know about this? What's their stance on this? Qin Chu was completely surrounded. Assistant Yang was going crazy. He yelled, "Everyone make way, don't push." President Qin, please give us a response. Your ex-wife's actions have angered the public. If she really cheated on you, then the group will give you justice. Finally, the reporter's question angered Qin Chu. Chapter 1491. He coldly swept his gaze across the room. Justice? What justice? I don't need anyone else to do justice for me. Then, the room immediately quieted down, all the cameras were pointed at Qin Chu, and the flashes never stopped. This is the first and last time I'm responding in public. I won't be responding to this matter in the future, so please listen carefully. Huamin and I got a divorce because of our own private matters. There was no third party involved, nor was there an affair. It also didn't involve any family conflicts. She gets along well with my parents, and she's always been friends with President Su of Imperial Star. Please don't slander her. If she's so good to you, then why did you get a divorce? A fearless reporter rushed to ask. Qin Chu's gaze swept across his face, scaring him into taking a few steps back. If looks could kill, he would have died 1,000 times over by now. You want to hear the reason? Fine, I'll give you the reason. I've been with her for many years. We've been together since high school, and after a long time, we're like family. There's no passion between us anymore. We're both rational people, and in order to maintain the freshness of our love, we decided to separate. But The separation is only temporary. It's not permanent. Thank you for your attention. After speaking, Qin Chu pushed through the crowd, got into his Maybach, and drove away. Huamin, who was sitting in front of the TV, actually felt a little happy when she saw this interview. He just said that the separation was only temporary. It seemed like she was right. Qin Chu must have run into some kind of temporary problem. Once it was solved, everything would be fine. It wasn't like they were really getting a divorce. Then, she shouldn't be like an abandoned woman who's lost her mind all day. Even today, in order to protect her, Qin Chu actually accepted an interview in public and explained that there was no third party involved. He clarified for her, saying that if he really didn't love her anymore, why would he do something like this? After those famous people got divorced, most of the time, the couples would tear each other apart. Instead of wholeheartedly protecting her, so, with this thought, Huamin didn't feel so sad anymore. She still said the same thing. She believed that Qin Chu had his own difficulties, but it wasn't convenient for him to tell her right now. After Qin Chu responded, the situation immediately changed. There were no longer people making an issue out of Huamin and Suyu. There were also no longer people talking about the third party or cheating in their marriage. After all, no man would defend his ex-wife after being cuckolded. Therefore, everyone believed that there was no such thing as an extramarital affair, and that the unspeakable secret was the truth behind the divorce. That night, some gossipy viewers even wrote a long Weibo post analyzing the truth behind Qin Chu and Huamian's divorce. She boldly guessed that it was because one of Huamin and Qin Chu was infertile, so in order not to interfere with each other's happiness, they had to bear the pain of separation. In fact, the two of them were still in love. Who would have thought that this Weibo post would resonate with everyone? Qin Chu and Huamian didn't get pregnant for a year, so the public started to speculate. Now that they were divorced, perhaps it really had something to do with the child? That afternoon, Huasiqian accepted an interview. For the first time, he expressed his opinion on the matter. President Hua, what do you think about the divorce between GK's president and his wife? I don't think so, but I have something to say to my Mian. Huasiqian smiled. What is it? The female host asked curiously. Chapter 1492. No matter what difficulties or misfortunes she encounters, the Hua family's doors will always be open for her. She's welcome to come home anytime. President Hua is such a good brother. Good brother? No, I'm not. Huasiqian directly rejected her. This made the female host feel very awkward. The Hua family isn't a place where anyone can come home whenever they want. Some people can, but some people will never be able to. I don't quite understand what President Hua is saying, huh? The female host was completely confused by Huasiqian's words. Haha, it's okay if you don't understand, as long as someone does. Seeing this, Huamin immediately turned off the TV and threw the remote control onto the TV. Recently, she felt that Huasiqian had been very high profile. She also thought about how Qin Chu suddenly asked for a divorce. Could it be because of Huasiqian? However, she couldn't ask directly, because she wouldn't get an answer. According to Huasiqian's personality, he wouldn't say anything. Nothing that came out of his mouth was true. Qin Chu, on the other hand, wouldn't say anything. He was such a stubborn person. With this thought, Huamin picked up her tablet and opened Weibo. She sent a private message to Suyu. Are you there? As long as Huamin wanted to talk to Suyu, he would always be there. He didn't like Weibo at all, but because of one person, he was always online 24/7. She purposely turned up the volume so that even if she was asleep, she would still hear it. I have something that I need your help with. Sure. I haven't told you what it is yet. Huamin was speechless. Suyu agreed just like that. Seriously, since you came to me, it means that I can do it. Since I can do it, I definitely won't refuse. Huamin, do you always agree to everyone's requests? Do you think I'm a genie? Suyu rolled his eyes and retorted. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. At this moment, she looked at Suyu and said, even if I'm the genie, I'm only your genie. Huamin stopped smiling and remained silent. Every time Suyu was serious, she didn't know how to respond. Speak. What's the matter? Don't waste my time. Su Yu changed the topic. I want you to help me investigate something. What is it? Huasiqian. To be honest, I don't know what's going on. I'll make it short. I think Qin Chu's sudden request for a divorce has something to do with Huasiqian. I think Huasiqian must have done something. Oh, I see. Qin Chu won't tell me. If he doesn't want me to know, then it must be something big, and it must have something to do with me. After thinking about it, only you can help me without them finding out. Okay. Thank you. You don't have to thank me. If it works, you have to treat me to dinner. Sure. Huamin nodded without hesitation. If it doesn't work, you still have to treat me to dinner. No problem. Huamin smiled again. Su Yu was always like this, domineering to the point of being cute. After talking to Su Yu about this, Huamin felt less sad. She also didn't insist on asking Qin Chu. She hated herself for being so reckless and not thinking about the cause and effect of the situation. After taking a hot shower, Huamin fell asleep in the middle of the night. She felt like someone was watching her. In a daze, she saw a person standing by her bed, but the person's silhouette was so blurry. Me, hurry up and come back to me. I don't want to wait too long. The voice was eerie. Huamin suddenly woke up, then she was surprised to find that the window of the bedroom had been opened. Chapter 1493. It was winter. Who would open the window in the middle of the night? Huamin clearly remembered that the window was closed. It couldn't have been opened for no reason. Could it be that someone had broken into the house? With this thought, Huamin felt all the hairs on her body stand up. She rolled out of bed, turned on the bedroom light, and then went downstairs with a flashlight. She searched all the rooms in the house, but there was nothing suspicious. She didn't lose anything either. Was it an illusion? But that wasn't right. The window was indeed open. Still unable to sleep, Huamin called the neighborhood security. She asked for the surveillance footage outside her house, of course. The security guard wasn't easy to talk to. In the end, Huamin gave him a red packet of 1,000 yuan before he was willing to do it. However, when he looked at the surveillance footage, he found that everything was normal. Miss Hua, look, I didn't do anything. The neighborhood is very strict. No one would break in without us knowing. Huamin returned home with a heavy heart. When she walked out of her house, she deliberately turned around to look at the neighborhood's surveillance camera. Then she looked at the angle outside her room. It was actually a blind spot. No wonder the camera couldn't see anything. Huamin felt even more scared. She was very scared. She really wanted to call Qin Chu, but she knew that it was probably not convenient for Qin Chu to see her at this time. He must have his difficulties. She couldn't call Su Yu. It was too late. If someone took a picture, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. In the end, Huamin decided to call Jiang Xiaowei. Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran lived in the apartment, so it wasn't very convenient. After Jiang Xiaowei got pregnant, she basically couldn't do anything that was inappropriate for children. After thinking about it, she called Xiaowei. Jiang Xiaowei left and sent a car to pick up Huamin. Jiang Xiaowei's private mansion. Mian, are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? Huamin shook his head. You don't look well. Slightly. I don't think I'm hallucinating. It should be the person who came in. That person should have avoided the surveillance camera's blind spot. Are you sure? I'm not sure, but I don't think I'm wrong. The window was indeed opened. Could it be that the wind blew it open? No, because before my mom left, she specially helped me check the windows. They were all locked from the inside. That's weird. If someone could open the door, Mian, your home is not safe. You can't stay there anymore. Then what should we do? Huamin was also worried. You can stay at my house. That won't do. It's too inconvenient. How about I rent a temporary apartment or hotel? Huamin said. No, you can't live alone. You're being watched. It's too dangerous to live alone. No matter where you live, you'll be in trouble. What you need now is to live with a group. Live with a group. Huamin was in a difficult position. I told you Qin Chu wouldn't ask for a divorce for no reason. It looks like you two are in trouble. Jiang Xiaowei was very smart. She had the same thought as Huamin and suspected that Huasiqian did something. Why don't you come to my house? The way family values me a lot. In order to protect me and my child, they have bodyguards protecting us 24 hours a day. My mansion is like an iron fortress, huh? Jiang Xiaowei invited him enthusiastically. Slightly. Let me think. Does Lord Su know about this? Huamin shook his head. If he knew, he'd be worried sick, Jiang Xiaowei added. We can't let Qin Chu know, or else he'll be even more stressed. Anyways, we have to keep this a secret, Huamin said slowly. Okay. In the VIP ward of the first hospital? Chu, what's going on? The rumors are all over the place. Lady Qin held her son's hand and asked in a low voice. What rumors? Rumors say that you divorced Mian. We did divorce. What did you say? Lady Qin was dumbfounded. Chapter 1494. We're divorced. Pa? Lady Qin slapped Qin Chu mercilessly. Bastard. Who told you to get a divorce? Why didn't you discuss such a big thing with us? Do you think we're dead? Lady Qin was really angry. The company was in a slump recently, Qin Yumin was in poor health, and Huamin had been running back and forth like her daughter. The old couple felt sorry for her. Where else could they find such a good daughter-in-law? It was bad enough that he didn't tell them when he got married, but now he didn't even tell them about the divorce? No wonder they hadn't seen Huamin for the past 2 days. It turned out that something big had happened. At first, when she heard the people at the hospital talk about it, she thought it was a publicity stunt. Mom, this is between the two of us. You and Dad don't have to worry about it. What nonsense are you talking about? What do you mean we don't have to worry about it? You're my son. If I don't worry about it, who will? Why do you want a divorce? What's wrong with Mian? It's not that she's not good. This matter isn't that simple. I'll explain it slowly in the future. Anyway, don't ask now. After speaking, Qin Chu walked over to his father's bed. Dad? Qin Yumin looked away and refused to speak. He seemed to be angry with his son. Dad, rest well for the next few days. I'll arrange the surgery for you next Monday. No need. Don't be stubborn. I'll do the surgery myself. Don't feel burdened. If Mian doesn't come, I won't do the surgery. Dad. Qin Chu didn't expect his old man to be so stubborn. Ask Mian to come. I want to see the two of you together. Otherwise, I won't do the surgery until I die. Qin Yumin said. He didn't believe that there was anything in the world that could separate Chu and Mian so seriously. So, even if it was a threat, he had to set them up. I still have things to do at the company. I'm leaving now. Qin Chu was exhausted and didn't want to argue with his parents. After Qin Chu left, Huamin came. They walked one after the other, so they didn't meet each other. Huamin would not turn his back on her just because he divorced Qin Chu. After 2 days of sadness, she finally felt better. She immediately went to the first hospital. Dad, Mom. The way he addressed them was still the same. Mian, you're finally here. Lady Qin held Huamin's hand with tears in her eyes. We thought you wouldn't come again. Even if Qin Chu and I are divorced, I will still be your daughter. You've been so good to me, I will never forget. Huamin put down the vegetables and fruits with a smile. I bought some ingredients today. I'll make some clear soup for Dad later. I heard that he's going to have surgery next week. He has to adjust his diet. You and Chu. Qin Yumin seemed to want to ask something. Dad, he must have his reasons for doing what he did. Let's not ask him about it. He must be feeling terrible. It's okay. I believe that no matter what difficulties it is, it will pass. Our separation is only temporary. Huamin smiled. Her words made the 2 elders of the Qin clan feel more or less relieved. Huamin chatted with the 2 elders at the hospital for a while and made some vegetable soup himself. Before they left, Lady Qin said, Mian, your dad's surgery is next Monday? I'll be there, Huamin said with determination. The 2 elders of the Qin family were even more touched. Okay, we'll wait for you. When Huamin walked out, he received a call from Zhu Lingling. She and Gao Ran were waiting for him at a hot pot restaurant not far away. Ever since the accident, they hadn't sat down and had a good chat. Huamin was doing well, so she wanted to see her 2 good friends. However, To her surprise, she ran into Wuxia, whom she hadn't seen for a long time. Beside him was Emo Shui, had been very successful recently. After she joined the Huo Corporation, she took part in a popular reality show and became even more popular. Recently, she accompanied Wuxia to some of his events and dinners. Song Yisher seemed to have disappeared. When they met, Emo Shui confronted him. "Hey, isn't this Lady Qin?" "I'm sorry, she's not anymore. I heard she's his ex." Huamin smiled at Emo Shui. "Movie queen Emo, are you here for an abortion again?" Emo Shui's expression changed immediately. Chapter 1495. Don't step on someone just because they're down and out. That kind of behavior is really annoying. Also, don't forget your past. At this point, Huamin deliberately moved his head closer to Emo Shui's ear and whispered, "Did you know? They say that aborted fetuses will turn into baby spirits and will forever haunt the irresponsible mother. You used her as a tool to force her into marriage. In the end, you didn't save her, but you don't feel guilty at all. You've really impressed me." After speaking, Huamin continued walking forward. Emo Shui froze on the spot, her heart filled with fear. Emo Shui originally wanted to show off her success. Then, she wanted to laugh at Huamin for being abandoned. However, she didn't expect to be defeated as soon as they started fighting. Her mockery had no effect on Huamin at all. However, Huamin's words pierced her heart like a poisonous needle. This was Huamin's strength. She would either ignore you, or he would break you down in an instant. Just then, Emo Shui suddenly turned her head and roared, "Huamin, what's so great about you? Don't always act so high and mighty. You don't have nothing right now. You're just a resentful woman who was abandoned by her husband." "You're wrong. I don't have nothing. I still have $1 billion in alimony." Emo Shui, "Also, this is a hospital. Please keep quiet. Thank you." Huamin smiled calmly and continued walking out. When he passed by Wuxia deliberately moved his body and blocked Huamin. "A good dog doesn't block the way." "Ha! I've never been a good dog." Wuxia laughed. "So you've admitted that you're just a dog?" Huamin raised his head and looked at Wuxia coldly. "Me? You're really resentful." "Yes, I pray every day, hoping that God will let you die early and go to hell early. Thank you for missing me so much." Wuxia was still smiling. Huamin, on the other hand, was extremely angry. "You know what? You're actually very similar to me." Wuxia almost clapped his hands and cheered when he saw how Huamin pissed Emo Shui off. That kind of smiling face that could infuriate people half to death, this kind of appearance was really similar to him. "You're flattering me. I'm not that perverted." After saying that, Huamin gave him a hard push. She pushed Wuxia aside and walked out of the hospital without looking back. Meeting him here really made her lose her appetite. When he reached the door, Huamin suddenly thought of something. She turned around to look at Wuxia and asked, "Are the curtains in my house pretty?" Wuxia didn't say anything, he just looked at her quietly. Emo Shui, on the other hand, was completely stunned. "They're very pretty," Wuxia replied. "Really? I'll prepare even better ones for you next time." "Sure, I'm looking forward to it." Wuxia put one hand in his pocket and continued to smile. Huamin calmly left. "Xichin, what did you guys just say? Did Huamin give you curtains?" Emo Shui was completely confused. "Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. It won't do you any good to know too much." Wuxia's voice was cold. The reason why Wuxia kept Emo Shui around until now was because she was still useful to him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to survive until now. Now that she's divorced, shouldn't you do something to her? Emo Shui always knew that Wuxia was infatuated with Huamin. "There's no rush, I have something more important to do first." Wuxia smiled eerily. That night, Wuxia returned to the Huo mansion, where he hadn't been for a long time. The empty house became especially cold and cheerless. Jiang Hong, who hadn't been home for a long time, was sitting on the sofa in the living room. She was wearing an elegant dark green qipao. "What do you want?" Huasiqian leaned against the door and looked at Jiang Hong. Don't you think you've been too much lately? Jiang Hong asked as she poured tea. You mean? Chapter 1496. I don't care if you teamed up with more than a dozen real estate developers to suppress GK, but why did you have to do this? Do you know how much the Hua Corporation lost? Do you know how much money I lost in one night? Jiang Hong was a profit-oriented person. In her entire life, she didn't care about her own parents and only cared about money. Huasiqian had seen through her a long time ago. Money can be earned again, what's the rush? Huasiqian replied nonchalantly. Ha, earn again? That's easy for you to say. That was my money in the first place. You took it and did whatever you wanted without even discussing it with me. Huasiqian, are you all grown up? Do you think you can get rid of my help? Help? Huasiqian raised his thick eyebrows. No, you're wrong, you've never helped me. Then did you grow up being a prostitute? Jiang Hong's face darkened. Her adopted son had been acting weird for the past 2 years and wasn't as obedient as he used to be. Before, she just thought that her son was old enough to enjoy himself, so she didn't think much of it. She had seen how Huasiqian had lost billions of yuan of the Hua Corporation's funds in a week during the price war to attack GK. She was no longer in the mood to continue traveling and flew back from Australia to question him. All these years of your upbringing is actually just an excuse to deceive others. Madam Jiang Hong, say, if people find out that you, who looks dignified and beautiful like a noble lady, are actually a pervert who likes to play with handsome boys, what will happen? Jiang Hong's expression changed drastically. Don't be afraid, I won't expose you. The truth is, I should thank you for giving me a dark childhood, which led to my current twisted and perverted life. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to do all that I did, and I wouldn't have risen to the top of the Hua family so quickly. All I can say is, thank you for raising a psycho. What are you talking about? Jiang Hong felt guilty and didn't dare to look Huasiqian in the eye. Huasiqian walked over and sat across from her. He picked up an apple and slowly peeled it with a fruit knife. You just asked why I didn't discuss it with you, right? Jiang Hong remained silent. What do you think you are? Jiang Hong's expression turned even uglier when she heard this. Why should I discuss it with you? Don't tell me you're so naive as to think that you're the current head of the Hua family. I have 52% of the shares. Jiang Hong corrected her. But, sure, you can use your shares to go back to the board of directors and throw your weight around. See if anyone listens to you. Don't be silly. You only have shares, not real power. I can bankrupt the Hua Corporation in one day and leave you with hundreds of billions of dollars in debt. Do you believe me? Jiang Hong widened her eyes and looked at Huasiqian in disbelief. You can't do this. That's all you have. Jiang Hong didn't understand. If the Huasiqian was finished, wouldn't he also be a poor man? Don't tell me you're so naive as to think that the Hua Corporation is all I have? What do you mean by that? Jiang Hong finally understood what Huasiqian was implying. That's why I said that you're old and stupid. But that's okay. It's good that you don't understand. Under normal circumstances, those who know less live longer. I'll go to the board of directors tomorrow and remove you from your position as the president. You'll have nothing and I'll take back everything I've given you. Jiang Hong stood up angrily. Huasiqian only smiled faintly when he heard this. Chapter 1497. It's not the same. My security system is very good, and I have bodyguards patrolling 24/7. It's okay, I'll stay at Xiaowei's house for a few days. When things are settled, I'll go back to South Hill Manor. Su Yu's eyes dimmed slightly. He knew that to Huamin, South Hill Manor was her home because Qin Chu was there. Oh yeah, what did you find? Huamin asked. The day Qin Chu told you about his divorce, he did meet with Huasiqian in the afternoon. Huamin didn't say anything, but it was obvious that she had expected this. I checked his car and found that he went to Duoqin Bay, and Huasiqian went there as well. However, the surveillance in that area was tampered with, so I don't know the exact time and place of their meeting. I only know that they definitely met. I knew it. Huamin clenched her fists, her heart burning with anger. If it wasn't for Huasiqian's tricks, why would Qin Chu suddenly want a divorce? So I'm curious, what did that bastard Huasiqian say to Qin Chu? What made him divorce you willingly? Su Yu was the one who asked this question. He was indeed curious. He knew how Qin Chu felt about Huamin. Qin Chu was willing to die for Huamin, but now that he mentioned divorce, Huamin guessed that something worse than death must have happened. Su Yu, yeah. Can you pull up the footage from Snooker Night? What can I do? That night, Huasiqian said a few words to Qin Chu, and then he panicked and lost the game. I'm guessing that it has something to do with this. But that time he spoke so softly. Even if I give you the footage, you still can't hear what he said. Su Yu was puzzled, thinking that Huamin should have considered this. It's okay, just give me the footage. Okay, wait for me, I'll get it now. After hanging up, Huamin anxiously waited. Half an hour later, Su Yu sent him a video on WeChat. Huamin was pleasantly surprised, and sure enough, it was that video. It was a bit far, so he couldn't hear what Huasiqian said to Qin Chu. However, the footage. So, Huamin took his phone and went to Jiang Xiaowei's room. She had just come out of the shower. Slightly, can you read lips? Yes. That's awesome. Huamin happily ran over, hugged Jiang Xiaowei and kissed her. Aya, what are you doing? You scared me. Jiang Xiaowei was confused by the kiss. Here, read it to me. What did Huasiqian say to Qin Chu? Jiang Xiaowei curiously took a look at the video and said, the shape of their lips is a bit off, I'll have to think about it. Okay, there's no rush, just give me a rough translation. Huamin picked up the hairdryer and dried Jiang Xiaowei's hair. Jiang Xiaowei watched the video over and over again. Finally, she looked up and tugged on Huamin's sleeve. Mian, I think he said, family background. Yes, family background. Family background. Does Huasiqian know about my family background? Huamin's eyes were filled with shock and surprise. What family background? Jiang Xiaowei was confused. I'll explain it to you later. I have to go find Qin Chu. After speaking, Huamin turned around and ran away without looking back. Honey, where did Huamin go? He ran really fast. Maybe he went to find her husband. I thought they were divorced? Wei Liao was confused. Chapter 1498. Along the way, Huamin was very excited. She held her phone and repeatedly watched the video of Snooker Night. She actually knew how to read lips, but she wasn't calm enough right now, so she was afraid that she would make a mistake. At such a sensitive time, she didn't want to make any mistakes. Xiaowei was a bystander, and she was a more professional psychologist than her. So, to be safe, she asked Xiaowei to translate first, and then watched it herself. Huasiqian was indeed talking about her background. It shouldn't be wrong. For a long time, Qin Chu cared about her background the most. Qin Chu could tell that she wanted to find her family, so he had been secretly looking for them. Even if someone died because of this, Qin Chu still didn't give up. Even Huamin herself gave up at one point. During Snooker Night, what Huasiqian said to Qin Chu was different from what he said to her. Huasiqian knew about her background, but he never mentioned it to her. He probably just wanted to use this opportunity to threaten Qin Chu. Was there something that couldn't be said about her background? Why would Qin Chu rather bear the pain of the divorce alone? He didn't want to talk about it. Huamin's mind raced the whole way. She really hated herself for not noticing it earlier. If she had checked and found out, maybe she and Qin Chu wouldn't have to suffer so much. When she arrived at the company, she found that Qin Chu wasn't in the office. Where's my husband? A young lady. President got off work. I know. Where did he go? Homer? I don't know. Young, how did I treat you in the past? Huamin began to play the gentle card. A young lady treated me very well. My wife and I have always regarded a young lady as our idol. If that's the case, you're not even willing to tell me where you are now. No, it's the boss. Assistant Yang wanted to say something but stopped. It's okay. He won't blame you. Trust me. Boss went to the newly opened Xiangjiang Hotel in the high-tech zone. There's a banquet there tonight. Okay, thank you. Huamin thanked him and took a taxi to Hong Kong Hotel. Qin Chu is the same as her. He rarely attends business banquets. But he heard that this Hong Kong hotel is owned by the daughter of a provincial leader. Therefore, all the entrepreneurs in the city had to show their support. Sure enough, when they arrived, the entrance was filled with luxury cars. At this moment, a notification sound came from his phone. Where are you? It was a message from Su Yu. Hong Kong Hotel. Why did you go there? I'm here to see Qin Chu. Calm down. You can find Qin Chu one day later, Su Yu comforted her. I don't want to wait another day. It's too long. Huamin had always been a patient person. But this time, she really didn't want to waste any time. She had to see Qin Chu immediately. Mian, listen to me, go ahead. Hua Xiqian is also there. If you look for Qin Chu like this, he will be exposed. Then, everything Qin Chu has done before will be meaningless. Indeed. Huamin was too happy and ignored the possibility that Hua Xiqian might appear. Or rather, Hua Xiqian would definitely appear. So, do you want to come back first and we can discuss this further? Su Yu really wanted to help Huamin. Just like Qin Chu, he wanted to help too. But he wanted Huamin to be happy more. So, between helping Huamin remarry and letting Huamin continue to suffer from being single, he would rather let Huamin be happy. No, I won't give myself away. I just really want to see him. After speaking, Huamin put away his phone and walked into the hotel. Hey, look, isn't that the ex-wife of GK's president? Someone recognized her and whispered. Chapter 1499. Huamin came in such a hurry that she didn't even have time to change into a gown. Therefore, she became the center of attention as soon as she walked in. She was still wearing a silly black cashmere coat, jeans, and high heels. It was such a simple outfit. Fortunately, her aura was strong enough to intimidate everyone. Hua Xiqian and Song Yishe were a rare combination. Song Yishe wore a gorgeous golden gown with her back exposed. Hua Xiqian was different from his usual self. For the first time, he wore a normal black tuxedo. Qin Chu wore a modified black tunic suit, which gave him a national style. Coupled with his handsome face, he was enough to become the topic of conversation among the women in the room. Since he announced his divorce with Huamin and became single again, the moment Qin Chu entered the banquet, many women started to approach him. Many women tried to strike up a conversation and exchange business cards with him, but none of them succeeded. He just held a glass of red wine and quietly sat in a corner. Occasionally, he would talk to entrepreneurs he was familiar with. Qin Chu didn't expect Huamin to come. What's more, he didn't expect her to barge in without changing her clothes. Perhaps it was because it was too cold outside, but when Huamin walked in, her face was a little red. His heart ached and he wanted to go up and hug her. However, he couldn't. He just looked at her from afar. Hua Xiqian walked over first. Mian, why didn't you tell me you were coming to the banquet? I could have asked someone to prepare a gown for you. What color do you like? No need. Are you here to see your ex-husband? He's very popular today. After all, he's single again. There are a lot of women trying to hit on him. Look too much. Huamin raised her head and coldly glanced at Hua Xiqian's face. Then, from the corner of her eye, she saw Qin Chu's shadow. She walked around Hua Xiqian and headed straight for Qin Chu. Hua Xiqian was very unhappy behind her. Why did he immediately become the background wherever Qin Chu was? Why you here? Qin Chu's tone was no longer cold. Instead, it was as gentle as before. But Huamin didn't finish her sentence. Qin Chu saw Hua Xiqian approaching him. His face immediately darkened. Aren't you divorced? We should see each other less in the future. If you have any objections to the division of assets, you can contact my team of lawyers. I'm not here to ask you for money. Huamian's voice was very small. She bit her lip as if she had something to say. If you want to talk business with me, you need to make an appointment. I'm sorry. Please excuse me, Miss Hua. Then, Qin Chu put down the wine glass in his hand and turned to leave. However, Huamin grabbed his sleeve. He felt a sharp pain in his heart. Qin Chu, I'll give you one more chance to explain. Tell me, why did you get a divorce? If you really have someone you like, tell me and I'll help you. If you're feeling stressed because of Dad's illness, I'll bear it with you. Don't be like this alone. I feel really bad. You're overthinking it. The truth is, the real reason I got a divorce is... Xianxia paused for a moment. From the corner of his eye, he saw Wuxia smiling as he watched the drama unfold. He gritted his teeth and continued, "Actually, it's not because of those ridiculous reasons that people are speculating. The real reason is that I've been tired all these years. I've used up all my love for you and my patience for you." Tired? Huamin was slightly surprised. Chapter 1500. I'm tired of living like this. Huamin, stop pestering me. I've said it before, let's part on good terms. I've given you so many houses, cars, and $1 billion. You can live the rest of your life without any worries. You've been with me for a year and you've gotten a lot. You didn't lose anything, we're even. After speaking, Xianxia suddenly shook off Huamin's hand. He walked out of the hotel without looking back. Huamin stood behind him, tears rolling down her cheeks. Wuxia's heart ached as he watched from afar. "Mian." He walked up to her, wanting to comfort her. He really wanted to tell her, "Mian, it's not a pity that you don't have Xianxia, but you still have me." However, before he could say anything, Huamin ran out crying at the door. She suddenly bumped into something, surprised. She looked up and saw Suyu, who was wearing a white casual outfit. He was wearing a simple, long-sleeved t-shirt with a classic Versace print. Then he was also wearing a pair of jeans. Obviously, Lord Su wasn't here for the dinner party. She was here to pick up Huamin. What's wrong? He left. I knew it would be like this. Xianxia, that bastard. No, I have to beat him up to vent my anger. Suyu turned to leave after speaking, but Huamin stopped him. Don't go, forget it. If he doesn't want to see me, let's go. Are you okay with that? So what if I'm not? It's already come to this. After speaking, Huamin followed Suyu into the Lamborghini. After getting into the car, Huamin immediately took out a tissue and wiped the tears off his face. Then, she stuck her tongue out and asked Suyu, "How was my performance just now?" Suyu was confused. "Aya, you mean the scene you deliberately showed to Wuxia? The scene where you completely broke up with Xianxia?" I came late, so I didn't see it. But seeing you cry like this, you should be quite into the role." If I don't take it seriously, how can I fool that bastard? You have to go to South Hill Manor and explain to Xianxia. He still doesn't know that you're acting? I think he's not feeling good about it. Suyu pondered, no need. With Wuxia's suspicious personality, he will send someone to follow me and Xianxia. If I look for him now, we will be exposed. Where are we going now? Spiritual Fox. Spiritual Fox? Suyu was surprised again. Shouldn't I act sad and drunk? Huamin laughed. Huamin, you win. Suyu drove Huamin to Spiritual Fox. The party continued, and Song Yisher lied that she wasn't feeling well and left early because she didn't want to spend another minute with Wuxia. "Boss, I'm done." "How is it?" Wuxia took a sip of champagne and asked slowly. Xianxia went back to the company to work overtime. Huamin, no, Miss Hua went to Spiritual Fox with Suyu. She looked really sad. She was still crying when she got out of the car. Suyu supported her the whole way. I can't believe, after planning for so long, Suyu got away with it. I don't feel good about it. Wuxia slammed the wine glass in his hand down with a bang. Then, he wiped his hands with a handkerchief and walked out of the hotel. Suyu, how about we sing a song together? It was a weird feeling to be in a private room with only Huamin and Su. To break the awkward atmosphere, Huamin volunteered to sing a song with Suyu. Suyu froze for a second before a wave of happiness welled up in his heart. You decide. So you're saying you can sing any song? Huamin smiled. Then, she sat down on the karaoke machine and began to choose songs. Suyu sat not too far away and watched her walk away. For a moment, he got greedy. How great would it be if this woman was his official girlfriend? Chapter 1501. Suyu, let's sing Red Dust Love Song, okay? Huamin turned around with a smirk on his face. Suyu was speechless. Stop messing around, I really don't know how to sing that rural folk song. Only Huamin could come up with something like this. He couldn't even imagine what Lord Su would look like when he sang Red Dust Love Song. Haha, I'm just kidding, I don't know how to sing either. Huamin laughed heartily. In fact, Huamian felt much more relaxed now that she had solved the problem in Qinchu's heart. Her mood was no longer as gloomy as before. Huamin randomly picked a song and picked No Goodbye by Chen Shuedong. Then, he handed a microphone to Suyu. Let's sing this, I like the melody of this song. Okay. Suyu didn't talk much today, as if he had a lot on his mind. Huamin suddenly stopped after the first line. What's wrong? Suyu asked with the microphone in his hand. It's too low. I can't sing it. Huamin pouted. Suyu chuckled. This damned girl dug her own grave and jumped into it herself. Then let's sing another song. No, this song is pretty good, go ahead. Huamin insisted. Suyu rarely sang. Every time he came to Seductive Fox, he drank and chatted. The last time he sang, just once, for Huamin at GK's 30th anniversary gala. Everyone was shocked. This was the second time he picked up the microphone, and it was also for Huamin. Okay. He never had the heart to refuse Huamin's requests. Suyu sang along with the beautiful melody. Huamin picked up a drink from the table and listened to Suyu sing as he drank. He had to admit that Suyu's singing was super good. Also, this song was very emotional. Huamin was intoxicated by the song. It was as if he was listening to a superstar's concert. She was watching the music video on the big screen, but she didn't notice when Suyu sang the second verse. His gaze was fixed on her. In the future, when there is a snowstorm, there will be a new umbrella. Can you not turn off the lamp you left for me? Don't be sad for me. Don't be interrupted by despair. If we can't grow old together, don't let the wind and snow die you. Tomorrow, in the next life, wait for me to put the ring on your finger again. Forgive me, who was holding the flowers, who dressed up to present a gift, who watched the pure white gauze dress pass by me, and told him I was willing. But I will continue to clean the path in front of the door and the stairs. If you are tired, don't forget that you can still stop and rest there. You sang so well. Suyu, you're the god of songs, you. Huamin suddenly turned to look at Suyu. Just as he was about to say something, he saw that Suyu was looking at him affectionately. His eyes seemed to be filled with tears. Suyu, yeah? What's wrong? Nothing, I was a little into the song. Suyu adjusted his emotions, put down the microphone in his hand, and picked up a bottle of beer on the table to drink. Huamin felt a little guilty. If he hadn't ordered this song, Suyu's mood would have been so heavy. Seeing that Huamin didn't say anything, the atmosphere became a little awkward. Suyu took a sip of beer and changed the topic. Where are you going later? I'm going to find Qinchu. Huamin's gaze was firm. What about the people following us outside? When Suyu drove Huamin to Seductive Fox, they were closely followed by people. They didn't relax until they entered the private room because only the owner of Seductive Fox could see the surveillance cameras. Huasiqian didn't have the ability to spy on them from inside the private room. I have a way to get rid of them, but I need your help, Huamin slowly said. Chapter 1502. Sure. Suyu nodded without hesitation. Suyu, I owe you a lot. If I have the chance, You don't have to pay me back. I did all of this out of my own free will. It has nothing to do with you. If I didn't like someone, I wouldn't have done anything for you. I'm only helping you because we're friends, so stop nagging me. Suyu waved his hand. He didn't want to hear Huamin thank him. Okay. Huamin smiled. Huamin and Qinchu chatted for a while in the private room. Seeing that it was about time, the two of them left the private room. When they walked out of Seductive Fox, Suyu helped the drunk woman into the Lamborghini. Boss, hurry, follow them, they're driving away. A black Ford slowly followed behind the Lamborghini. At the same time, a petite figure dressed in men's clothing drove a black Land Rover out of Seductive Fox without anyone noticing. Rick watched the surveillance camera from the top floor and smiled. Huamin sure is full of tricks. Huasiqian is going to be played this time. The reason why they came to Seductive Fox for drinks was because this was Rick's place, and they were family. Therefore, it was convenient for them to do anything. Rick provided Huamin with a small set of men's clothing. It was a black leather jacket, jeans, and a black baseball cap that covered his long hair. Even the black Land Rover was prepared by Rick. The woman wearing Huamin's clothes was a new employee that Su Yu called over. Her figure and back were similar to Huamin's. After she put on Huamin's clothes, she put on a scarf to cover her face. She looked so real that she could pass for the real deal. Hua Xiqian's subordinates thought that they were Su Yu and Huamin, but they didn't know that they had been switched. Therefore, they foolishly chased after them. On the way, they didn't forget to report. Busness. Miss Hua went to a hotel with Su Yu. Hotel? Hua Xiqian frowned slightly. Yeah, they went to the Ritz-Carlton and booked a presidential suite. Hua Xiqian's face fell. That shouldn't be. Huamian wasn't that easy. Why would she book a hotel room with Su Yu? Could it be that Su Yu spiked to get Huamin? Hua Xiqian couldn't stay calm. His faces. Boss, what do we do now? Should we? Idiot. That's Su Yu. Do you think you can survive if you go in? Hua Xiqian cursed his subordinates for their stupidity, then was to call Huas. Inside the presidential suite, Su Yu looked at the caller ID on his phone, smiled, and picked it up. What's up, President Hua? Lord Su, are you free? Come out for a drink. I'm not free. I'm very busy right now. Huh, is that so? I wonder what Lord Su is busy with? Hua Xiqian laughed as well. Well, that's a secret. Okay, I'm hanging up. Before Hua Xiqian could say anything, Su Yu hung up. Hua Xiqian became even more anxious. If Su Yu really did something to Huamin, then Hua Xiqian would be the first one to take the fat meat in his mouth. Hua Xiqian thought about it and felt uneasy. He picked up his jacket, went downstairs, and drove towards the city center. On the other side, Huamin drove the Land Rover smoothly. Finally, no one was following her. Because she had the keys to South Hill Manor, as well as the password and fingerprints, her journey was smooth. After parking the car, Huamin anxiously got out of the car. When she opened the door, she saw Uncle Li instructing the maids to clean up the living room. A young lady? Everyone was shocked to see Huamin. Uncle Li, where's Qin Chu? Sir, he's in the wine cellar. Qin Chu was in a bad mood today. After leaving the dinner party, he went home. Then, he went straight into the wine cellar and didn't come out. Upon hearing this, Huamin turned around and ran towards the wine cellar. When she entered, she saw Qin Chu leaning against the wine rack in the middle of the room with a strong whiskey in his hand. Honey, she called out in a trembling voice. Qin Chu raised his head abruptly. His eyes were filled with surprise, and longing. Chapter 1503. Mian, you're back? Qin Chu's voice had a special magnetism to it. It made people feel at ease and comfortable. In a place like this, where there were no outsiders, he finally didn't have to pretend to be heartless. So, just a simple Mian, you're back, made Huamin's face fill with tears. She rushed down from the basement door. She tightly wrapped her arms around Qin Chu's neck. Qin Chu hugged her back. They didn't say anything. They just hugged each other tightly, and that was more than 1,000 words. After a while, Qin Chu slowly let go of Huamin. What are you wearing? Rick got me some men's clothes. After speaking, Huamin took off her baseball cap. Her shoulder-length hair was revealed. Why are you suddenly wearing men's clothes? To distract Hua Xiqian's men, they've been following me. Upon hearing Hua Xiqian's name, Qin Chu's eyes dimmed. Seeing Qin Chu's thoughts, Huamin cupped his face with her hands. I know why we got divorced. You know. Qin Chu looked up, a little surprised. Yeah, it's because Hua Xiqian used my family background to threaten you, right? Mishi? Qin Chu didn't expect Huamin to find out about the things he tried so hard to hide. Could it be that Hua Xiqian didn't keep his word and told Huamin? Seeing Qin Chu's surprised expression, Huamin explained, I found out myself. Su Yu helped me find out that you saw Hua Xiqian on the day you asked for a divorce. I thought that Hua Xiqian must have threatened you with something, and it must have had something to do with me. So, I thought about the night of the snooker tournament. You lost because he said something to you. Although I didn't hear it, I could get Suyu to find the surveillance footage. Xiaowei and I both read Hua Xiqian's lips, so it must be about my family background. So, Hua Xiqian used the mystery of my family background to threaten you, right? Mian, you're really smart. Qin Chu had to admit that Huamin was able to find out so much from a single clue. Do you think so or not? Don't lie to me this time. Yes, that's right. Qin Chu nodded and admitted it. Huamin immediately got on top of Qin Chu and pinched Qin Chu's cheeks. You idiot, why didn't you tell me earlier? Because your family background is a bit special. If you knew, you would be in danger. Then I can keep it a secret. You could have just told me briefly, and I wouldn't have asked about my family background. Don't you want to find your family? Qin Chu looked up and looked at Huamin with heartache. Compared to you, I think the way I am now is pretty good. If I have to lose you in order to find my family, then I'd rather not find them for the rest of my life, Min. Huamin's words deeply shocked Qin Chu. I don't care what other people think. You can call me selfish or heartless, but that's what I think. You're too important to me. If I have to lose you as the price, then it's not that I don't want to. I'll give up on finding them. Then, Huamin cupped Qin Chu's face and kissed him. Her eyes were closed, and her long eyelashes were slightly curled. When her slightly cold lips touched Qin Chu's, he felt his heart melt. All threats and plans could go to hell. All he wanted was to love Huamin and be with her. The two of them kissed passionately. For the first time, Huamin pushed Qin Chu onto the floor of the wine cellar. Perhaps he was too afraid of losing her, so he forcefully took her. Their clothes slowly fell off, revealing their most primitive desires. Qin Chu felt that as long as he could be with Huamin like this forever, he would be willing to go to hell in his next life. Huamin felt that as long as she could be by Qin Chu's side for the rest of her life, even if she had to walk through mountains of knives and seas of fire, it would be worth it. Because what she wanted wasn't a temporary memory, but a lifetime of deep love. After the lingering kiss, Huamin leaned into Qin Chu's arms with a rosy face. Honey, let's not be apart anymore. I hate being apart, Huamin said. Before Qin Chu could speak, Huamin continued, Hua Xiqian, that scumbag, I have ways to deal with him. Don't worry. After a while, Qin Chu gently stroked Huamin's hair and asked softly, Mian, do you want to know where your dad and sister are? Dad? Sister? Upon hearing these two words, Huamin was shocked. Chapter 1504. Qin Chu nodded. Yeah, even though Hua Xiqian is very cunning, I can't deny that he found out about your background. Or rather, he knew about it a long time ago. How did Hua Xiqian find out about Huamin's background, and when did he find out? There was no way to know, because Hua Xiqian was a very mysterious person. 6 out of the 31 years of his life were blank. Even the powerful Rick family couldn't find out anything about him, so it was very strange. How did he find out? Huamin frowned slightly. She and Qin Chu had spent so much time in Dongtao town, and it was so dangerous. How did Hua Xiqian find out? It was very strange. Let's not worry about how he found out, but what he said is the truth. These days, Rick and I have been connecting the dots. Also, do you remember the white jade gourd that you received during the new year that was worth over 100 million? I do. After speaking, Huamin reached out and took off the white jade gourd from around her neck. She always carried this thing with her because she felt like it was meant to be, and it was comfortable to wear. This was a gift from your sister. She bought it at an auction overseas, and the other one is with her. Qin Chu and Rick found out all of this. My sister? I have a sister? Huamin cried tears of joy. She was extremely excited. Qin Chu nodded. According to Hua Xiqian, she came to our city and saw you. Saw me? Huamin was even more surprised. Yeah, he said that she was at South Side. She probably pretended to be a patient or something. Anyway, she saw you, but you didn't notice her. There are too many patients at South Side. I really don't remember. Huamin couldn't remember seeing a strange girl. It's okay, you'll see her sooner or later. That one time won't matter, Qin Chu comforted her. Huamin felt her heart race. She had never thought that the truth would be so close to her. Honey, Are you saying that she knows who I am? Then why didn't they come to me? All these years? What? Huamin couldn't figure it out. Even if her father and younger sister already knew her identity, why didn't they come to acknowledge her? The situation is a little complicated. I'll explain it to you slowly. Qin Chu slowly told her about Huasiqian's background and the clues he had heard about Huamin. Among them, Jingde was not a good person. He almost betrayed Huamin to the Dutch, and was later killed by Huamin's biological father. He even framed Qin Chu and Huamian. Huamian was shocked. She never thought that her biological father would be the one behind their separation for 7 years because of a misunderstanding. Of course, he did it to protect her. If Jingde had really sold Huamin's information to the Dutch, Huamin would be dead on the streets. Huasiqian's forces were also in Dongtao town, preventing outsiders from investigating Huamin's background. Actually, in a way, Huasiqian was also protecting you. Your father is abroad, so he can't control too much. It's inevitable that something will go wrong. Huasiqian was very careful. Even Rick's men couldn't find any clues about your background. Qin Chu said slowly. I know. Huamin nodded. Do you know why Huasiqian did this? Qin Chu asked. After 3 seconds of silence, Huamin moved her lips. Because he loves me. Chapter 1505. You knew. Qin Chu thought that Huamin didn't know about Huasiqian's perverted feelings for her. Little did he know that Huamin had seen through him a long time ago. She just didn't want to admit it. Yeah, I knew about it a long time ago. But his so-called, isn't, at all, nor is it love. It's already gone bad. He wants to possess. It's a perverted confinement. Huamin analyzed Huasiqian's feelings for her. You're right. Huasiqian's methods are crazy. It's not something that ordinary people can understand. Qin Chu agreed with Huamin. Huamin sighed slightly. What's wrong? Qin Chu raised his hand and touched her cheek. I was just thinking, sometimes, the human heart is the scariest thing. My mom and I trusted Uncle Jing so much. I always thought that he loved me, but who knew that he would be willing to betray you? Not only that, Hu Zhenghai compensated my mom with a sum of money, but he didn't give it to her. I'm guessing that he bribed the doctor when I was born to hide the truth about me being swapped. Maybe he did it because he loved your mom. He didn't want your mom to be sad over the death of her child, so he swapped you, maybe, but judging from the current situation, Uncle Jing is a very shrewd person. I'm not sure if he did it because of my mom or not, but forget it, he's already dead. I don't want to find out. Huamin lowered her head, feeling a little depressed. No matter what Jingde did to her, no matter what kind of evil things he did to her, her love for Zhixin would never change. Now that we're at the last part, I should tell you who your dad and sister are. I'm guessing that they're not ordinary people. Otherwise, they wouldn't have caused so much trouble and refused to see me for so many years. Huamin smiled. You're right. I was shocked when I found out who they were. Huamin smiled. Qin Chu originally did not want to tell Huamin, afraid that she would be impulsive, but now it seemed that Huamin was actually very rational. He's much more rational than I thought. From the looks of it, the threat that Huasiqian posed to him was nothing. Even if Huamin knew about it, he couldn't possibly go looking for her family in such a situation. Your dad is, Qin Chu was just about to say. Just then, his phone started ringing. It was an unknown number. Hello. Qin Chu, Song Yisher? Hearing the familiar woman's voice, Qin Chu frowned slightly. It's me. Because he had blocked Song Yisher's number, she couldn't call him, so she changed to a new number and called Qin Chu. Song Yisher hadn't appeared in a long time, ever since she went to Qin Chu and asked him to kill Huasiqian. Huasiqian was in a car accident, but he wasn't injured. Since then, Song Yisher rarely appeared in public, as if she had disappeared without a trace. At tonight's cocktail party, she stood next to Huasiqian with a fake smile, like a puppet being controlled by someone. If she didn't take the initiative to call, Qin Chu and Huamin would have almost forgotten about her existence. What do you want? Qin Chu's attitude was not friendly. Can you come to my private mansion? No, I don't have time. Qin Chu, please save me. I'm dying, I'm really dying. Without waiting for Qin Chu to respond, Song Yisher hung up. Qin Chu was about to put away his phone and continue talking to Huamin. Then he received a text message. He opened it and saw that it was Song Yisher's new number. There was only one sentence and a photo on the text message. Come to 39 Jingwei Road right now. Come alone. I have something important to tell you. Qin Chu was shocked to see the photos below. Chapter 1506. It was a photo of Song Yisher's naked back. It wasn't a woman's flawless back. There were hundreds of wounds on her back, some of which were even bleeding. It was scary. What's wrong? Huamin asked. Song Yisher is a little weird. Then, Qin Chu handed his phone to Huamin and reminded him, the photo is a little scary, don't be scared. Since Huamin was mentally prepared, he wasn't as scared when he saw the photo. However, he was still a little shocked. This? Song Yisher's back looks like it's a knife wound. There are so many knife wounds, it's scary. Does she like to torture herself? Huamin asked. That's impossible, she can't reach her back. Someone must have done it. Is she in danger? Why don't we go and check it out? I'll go by myself. You should get some rest, it's late. No, I want to go. I'll go by myself. She told me to go by myself. I think she has something to say to me. Qin Chu could have just ignored Song Yisher, but after seeing the photo, he vaguely felt that Song Yisher was really in danger. Even if he didn't care about what Song Yisher did, he still had to consider the friendship between the Qin family and the Song family. Mayor Song had taken care of GK for many years, so Qin Chu wasn't an ungrateful person. Therefore, he decided to go and see what was going on. I want to go. Good girl. Go to sleep, I'll be back in a bit. Then, I'll tell you more about your dad and sister. Qin Chu gently kissed Huamin's eyelashes and gently said goodnight to her. Then he drove away. Meanwhile, Huamin went up to her bedroom on the second floor of the mansion and took a hot shower. Then, she lay in bed and waited for Qin Chu to come back. But for some reason, she started to feel uneasy again. It was as if something bad was about to happen, the feeling of panic. At this moment, her phone rang. She thought it was Qin Chu and immediately picked it up. Huamin, are you still at South Hill Manor? It was Su Yu's voice. Something doesn't feel right. What's wrong? Huamin asked. According to the plan, Huasiqian thought that I was the one who brought you to a hotel, so he should have done something. However, other than making a phone call, he didn't do anything else. It was very quiet. You mean, he doesn't believe that I'm the one who got a room with you? I'm not sure. Maybe he knows that you've returned to South Hill Manor? Even if he knows, I'm not afraid of him. I've already explained everything to Qin Chu. I don't care about the bargaining chip he used to threaten Qin Chu anymore. I won't let him continue to hurt Qin Chu. That's good. As long as you guys are okay, that's good. Su Yu's voice sounded a little lonely. After hanging up, Su Yu leaned back on the sofa and smoked with a serious expression on his face. President Su, when can we leave? The female artist asked timidly. We'll talk about it in the morning. Su Yu wasn't sure if Huasiqian knew about their plan, so he didn't dare to leave the hotel. He didn't want to cause trouble for Huamin. By the time Qin Chu drove to Jingwei Road, it was already 3 a.m. This road was a famous old neighborhood in Sea City. There were many Western-style houses left behind during World War II when Japan invaded the North. Mayor Song especially liked these kinds of retro things, so he bought one for himself. Later, Song Yisher liked it, so she gave it to her daughter as a birthday present. However, Song Yisher rarely came here. Looking at the dim lights in the old house, Qin Chu frowned slightly. Then he stood at the door and pressed the doorbell. He didn't know why, but he felt a little nervous. He felt like something was about to happen. Chapter 1507. He pressed the doorbell for a long time, but no one answered. Just as Qin Chu was about to turn around and leave, the door slowly opened. Qin Chu saw Song Yisha in a dark blue nightgown with exquisite makeup on her face. "Come in." Song Yisha's eyes were a little dazed. Qin Chu hesitated for a moment before walking in. The lights in the living room were dim, there was a bottle of Lafite on the table next to the sofa, the wine was in the decanter, and there was still some left in the glass. Song Yisha poured a glass of wine and handed it to Qin Chu. "I'm not here to drink." Qin Chu's voice was cold. "I know. If you have something to say it quickly." "What's the rush?" Song Yisha gave a pale smile. "The photo you sent me, huh? It's scary, right? Wuxia did it." Qin Chu frowned slightly. He hated men who hit women the most. He felt that it was a sign of incompetence and cowardice. If Wuxia really hit Song Yisha in such a cruel way, then he wasn't a man at all. Song Yisha bit her lips and didn't say anything. Instead, she downed the rest of the wine in her glass in one gulp. "Qin Chu, I miss when I was young. Although my parents weren't by my side, I didn't have so many worries. The older we get, the more we lose, and the less we are happy. People are greedy, they want things that don't belong to them, and they want more. Don't you think so?" "Yes." Qin Chu nodded and did not deny Song Yisha's words. She took the decanter and poured herself another glass. After taking a sip, she continued, "At that time, I actually had a good life in Italy. I always thought that I might live there for the rest of my life. I even thought that when my father retired in 5 years, I would bring him and my mother there. My father is very stubborn. He doesn't like the customs and culture of foreign countries. I went to the United States a few times, and I secretly watched you from afar. I often think that if I was braver at that time, I would run out to find you and confess to you, I won't accept you either. I only have Huamin in my heart." Qin Chu interrupted her. That's right, at that time, Qin Chu's mind was filled with Huamin. He just wanted to fulfill the 7-year promise with his father and marry Huamin after he returned to China. That was his only wish. So, even though Song Yisha pursued him relentlessly back then, he still wouldn't have agreed. "I know, but at least I won't regret it. There are many things that you won't regret when you do it, whether it succeeds or not." After speaking, Song Yisha picked up her glass of red wine again. Qin Chu, on the other hand, didn't seem to have the patience to listen to her nonsense. "If you don't like this kind of life, you can get a divorce. Just leave him." "Leave? It's not that simple." Song Yisha smiled bitterly. "Did he threaten you?" Qin Chu guessed. Song Yisha didn't answer. Instead, she suddenly changed the topic. "How's Mr. Qin's health?" "Not too good. I heard it's brain cancer." "Is the success rate of the surgery high?" "Not really." Qin Chu told the truth. "I hope Mr. Qin can get through this. He's such a good person." Song Yisha lowered her head. Qin Chu noticed that her eyes were drifting. Her words were also a little incoherent. "What exactly do you want to talk to me about?" Qin Chu asked coldly. Qin Chu didn't want to waste any more time beating around the bush with her. If he didn't see her shocking photo, he wouldn't have cared about her anymore. For the sake of Uncle Song's many years of friendship with his family, he wouldn't have cared at all. Because he didn't care at all about Song Yisha's life or death. After a long silence, Song Yisha said, "Qin Chu, can you stop going against Wuxia? You can't beat him." She really didn't want to embarrass herself like this. She also wanted to be like Huamin and have a personality that everyone liked, but things often didn't go as planned. After Qin Chu left, the mansion fell into a dead silence again. 3 minutes later, a slender figure appeared in the dimly lit mansion. TSK? Qin Chu really doesn't have any protective feelings for women. "I'm sorry. I already did as you said, but he's very smart and saw through me. He didn't drink, nor did he touch me. I'm really sorry, I tried my best." Song Yisha was so scared that her whole body trembled as she apologized profusely. The man slowly approached her. Chapter 1509. Then he helped her up from the ground. Sure, look at how scared you are. Why would I blame you? Be a good girl. The floor is cold, get up. Song Yisher wasn't used to the man's gentle tone. She trembled as she got up, and when she saw the smile on the man's face, she felt even more scared. I'm sorry. I didn't do a good job. Song Yisher apologized again in fear. It's okay, you already did a good job, that's enough. The man smiled as he reached out and gently caressed Song Yisher's face. Qin Chu drove very slowly on his way home. He kept thinking about why Song Yisher wanted to see him tonight. Drugging and raping him wasn't her motive. When they arrived at South Hill Manor, Huamin had already fallen asleep from exhaustion. Qin Chu carefully laid down beside her. He hugged her tightly from behind. When she woke up, he was going to tell her all the secrets of her family. When the time came, if Huamin was willing to go find her family, he would go through hell with her. If Huamin wasn't willing, he would respect her decision. At 6 o'clock in the morning, there was a commotion downstairs. Sir, if someone's here, Uncle Li shouted as he knocked on the door. Okay, got it. After Qin Chu responded, Huamin woke up with a start. Honey, what's wrong? What happened? Huamin woke up drowsily. I'm not sure either. Sleep a bit more, I'll go down and take a look. No, I want to go with you. Huamin was no longer sleepy. She got up, washed up, and went downstairs with Qin Chu. When they went downstairs, they saw a lot of police officers. What's going on? It wasn't a good thing to see so many police officers standing around so early in the morning. Mr. Qin, I'm the senior superintendent of the Major Crimes Unit, He Hongfei. Key Case Investigation Unit? Qin Chu raised his eyebrows. This was the first time he had seen a police officer from the Key Case Investigation Unit. It was even more mysterious than Gao Rant's Criminal Police Unit. It was said that it was directly under the control of the provincial department. They would only appear when there was a major case. Why did they come to his house at this time? Mr. Qin, we suspect that you are related to a major murder case that happened last night. Please come with us to assist in the investigation. Did you make a mistake? How could my husband kill someone? Huamin was baffled. Mrs. Qin, only your husband saw Mayor Song's daughter last night, so we have reason to suspect. Wait, you mean Song Yisher is dead? Huamin's expression changed drastically. That's right. What? Song Yisher is dead? Qin Chu was also very surprised. How is that possible? Huamin couldn't believe this sudden turn of events. The leading police officer glanced at Qin Chu and Huamin's faces and said calmly, Miss Song died last night around 3 a.m. We checked and found that Mr. Qin's car was there. Other than that, there were no other suspicious people. How did she die? Qin Chu thought back to Song Yisher's strange behavior last night. He thought it was a little strange, but he didn't expect someone who was fine last night to die today. She died a horrible death. We will keep the details confidential. Mr. Qin, please come with us for an investigation. Okay. Qin Chu didn't kill anyone, so he was very confident. Honey. Huamin didn't want to let go of Qin Chu's hand. It's okay, I'm just going to do an investigation. I'll be back soon. I believe in the justice of the law. Qin Chu turned around and comforted Huamin. Then, he got into the car and left with the officers from the Major Crimes Unit. Huamin looked at his back as he left, and an ominous feeling rose in her heart again. She didn't expect that this separation from Qin Chu would become a permanent pain in her heart. 8 a.m., all the media outlets in the city were reporting on this major murder case. The severity of the case shocked the entire country. Chapter 1510. An article with the title, Mayor's Daughter Tragically Died in Old Building, GK's President's Suspected Murderer, was quickly reposted. The article briefly described the time of Song Yisher's death and how Qin Chu was taken away by the police. However, Song Yisher's death was never made public. Apparently, it was kept a secret for now. Outside the morgue, Mayor Song was in a provincial meeting. He immediately rushed back when he heard the news. Together with Mrs. Song, they appeared outside the City Public Security Bureau's morgue. Oh Song, I don't believe this is true. Can't be. She's not our daughter. Lady Song couldn't stop crying, as if she couldn't accept this cruel reality. She grabbed Mayor Song's hand and refused to go in. So let's go in and take a look. Identifying a body is a very important process for the police. The director of the municipal bureau carefully followed behind Mayor Song. Mayor Song's face was also extremely sad. When he received the news, he knew for sure that it was true. He couldn't get through to Shirshir's phone. Mrs. Song said that Shirshir hadn't been home for 2 days and hadn't contacted her. He asked Huasiqian, but Huasiqian didn't know. Huasiqian only cared about eating, drinking, and having fun. He didn't care about Song Yishir's life at all. With endless sadness, Mayor Song held Mrs. Song's hand and walked in. Song Yishir's body lay quietly under the white sheets. Mayor, can you take a look? Okay. Mayor Song nodded and said one word with a trembling voice. Then, he slowly walked towards the body covered by the white sheet. Mayor, let me remind you, it might be uncomfortable, you should be mentally prepared. The director of the municipal bureau reminded him, but Mayor Song was still scared out of his wits when he lifted the white sheet. Lady Song even screamed. The workers behind her also couldn't help but vomit, as if they couldn't accept it. The director of the municipal bureau turned his face to the side, not daring to look directly at the body. How did this happen? Mayor Song's face was extremely pale, as if all the blood had drained from it. The murder's methods were extremely cruel. When we found him, the scene was very gruesome and the scene was very bloody. Because of your and your daughter's reputation, we didn't announce it to the public. Mayor Song turned his head away, not daring to look. He could not believe that the corpse on the bed was his beloved daughter, that noble and elegant girl. Song Yishir's face hadn't changed much. Other than the fact that she was deathly pale, one could almost recognize her at a glance. But below, other than the head, all the other parts of the body had been severed. The 2 arms, 2 legs, and the body had all been severely damaged. The director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau braced himself and explained, "Our forensic doctor has done a thorough examination and found that Miss Song's murderer is someone who understands medical principles very well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dismembered the body in such a skillful way. Killing people doesn't count. He even wanted to dismember the corpse. It was really hard to accept, especially for their loved ones." When Lady Song heard this, she couldn't take it anymore. She knelt on the ground and cried bitterly. "Shirshir, my poor daughter, how could you be so cruel and leave me and your father? Do you know that you're our only treasure? You're our life. Mommy was wrong. I shouldn't have tried to persuade you to do things you don't like. Daughter, come back. Mommy is sorry, Mommy was wrong." Lady Song's cries made everyone feel extremely sad. The police officers under him picked up the white bedsheet and covered Song Yishir's broken body. Mayor Song couldn't help but cry. Unlike Lady Song's heart-wrenching cries, he used his sleeve to wipe his tears very gently. However, it was obvious that he was in extreme pain. Who found her? When did they find her? Mayor Song asked, holding back his grief. Chapter 1511. A neighbor found her body. Apparently, blood seeped through the floor and emitted a strong smell of blood. The owner of the house got up early in the morning to walk her dog, and her golden retriever smelled the blood and kept barking. She thought something was wrong and called the police. When we arrived, we broke down the door and found Miss Song's body in the bathroom. She had been dead for a while, and her body was half naked. The bathtub and floor were covered in blood. Her head and body were in the bathroom, and her limbs were in the living room. Stop talking. No matter how strong Mayor Song was, he didn't have the courage to listen anymore. Did you catch the culprit? The director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau hesitated. Speak. Mayor Song roared. According to our investigation, Miss Song died around 3 a.m. last night. Other than Mr. Qin Chu, the president of GK, was the only person who went to the bungalow. Other than him, we didn't find anyone else. We also found text messages between them on Miss Song's phone. We've brought Mr. Qin back for questioning. I'm sure we'll have results soon. Qin Chu? Mayor Song couldn't believe it. That's impossible, how could Qin Chu? Lady Song cried as she spoke. They couldn't believe that the person who killed Xianxia was Qin Chu. We can't believe it either, but the evidence shows that he's the biggest suspect. We'll investigate further. After a moment of silence, Mayor Song clenched his fists and said, word for word, I don't care who the culprit is, I want him dead. He has to pay for my daughter's death. Mayor Song only had one daughter, and although he was busy with work, he didn't spend much time with her. However, he treated Song Xianxia very well. He always hoped that when he retired in a few years, he and his wife could take care of his grandchildren for his daughter. Who would have thought? Where's Huasichen? Mr. Hua is also very sad. He came to the scene to identify the body. No, I mean, when Xianxia got into trouble, where was he? Obviously, Mayor Song did not trust this son-in-law of his. Oh, we looked into it. Last night, Mr. Hua left Seductive Fox at midnight. He went to her apartment with the famous actress, Miss Mo Shui. He didn't leave until morning. Bastard? Xianxia is in trouble, and he's still in the mood to play with women? Lady Song cursed. Mayor, this matter? Go ahead and investigate. Find enough evidence. I've said it before, no matter who killed my daughter, they must be buried with her. Mayor Song looked up to the sky and let out a long sigh. Then he walked out. No one could experience the feeling of a white-haired person sending off a black-haired person. It was an indescribable pain. Mayor Song seemed to have aged a lot in an instant, and Lady Song fainted before she could walk out of the police station. The Provincial Key Case Investigation Unit named this case as Major Homicide Case 327. The reason why it was called Major Homicide Case was because the murderer's modus operandi was extremely cruel. Not only did he kill the victim, he also dismembered the body rhythmically, causing the small bungalow to be flooded with blood. Inside the municipal bureau, Qin Chu was mysteriously brought in as a suspect for interrogation. He sat in a sealed interrogation room, and the senior inspector of the Key Case Investigation Unit, He Hongfei, sat across from him. You're Mr. Qin Chu, right? Qin Chu nodded. Where were you at 3 in the morning last night? The officer questioned Qin Chu sternly. Chapter 1512. At Song Xianxia's mansion, Qin Chu told the truth. What were you doing there? She texted me and told me to come over. She said she had something important to tell me. And then, the police officer asked. I went over and talked to her for a while. We got into an argument and she told me to drink. I felt like there was something in the wine, so I didn't drink it. Then, when I left, she tried to stop me and I slapped her. What happened after that? After that, I left. Where did you go? I went home. According to your home's surveillance camera, you arrived home at 3:45 p.m. Normally, with your speed, it would take you less than 20 minutes to drive from Song Xianxia's mansion to your home. What do you mean? Qin Chu looked at the police officer unhappily. I mean, what did you do in those 20 minutes? Nothing much. I was just in a bad mood, so I drove very slowly. Plus, I was driving under the influence. I drank a lot and drove under the influence of alcohol at my home, so I wasn't in a good state. Of course, I didn't drive that fast. Okay, let's say you really left Song Xianxia's house. Then, from the surveillance camera, no one other than you went to Song Xianxia's house. She died just like that. She could have committed suicide. Qin Chu recalled that Song Xianxia was acting very crazy last night. She was crazy and spoke incoherently without any logic. It wasn't impossible for her to commit suicide. Do you think someone would commit suicide by dismembering themselves? Even a god can't do that? What did you say? Dismembering? Qin Chu caught the key word. Song Xianxia died a horrible death. The forensic report said that she was strangled with a rope and her body was dismembered. Her death was very tragic. Based on the excellent dismemberment technique of the suspect, he must have studied medicine. Otherwise, an ordinary person wouldn't be able to do such a difficult dismemberment. Dismembered? Qin Chu's eyes widened in shock. We're curious as well. What kind of grudge do you have against each other? Why would you want to dismember their bodies instead of killing them? I didn't kill anyone, Qin Chu calmly explained. Murderers won't admit to killing people. The policeman sneered. I'm not a murderer yet. The police also have to pay attention to evidence when handling cases. Officer, please pay attention to your words and actions. Qin Chu was very angry. The policeman in front of him seemed to be very hostile to him. It was as if she had already determined that he was the murderer. He Hongfei lowered his head and threw a thick stack of documents in front of Qin Chu with a smack. You want proof? Yes, we checked your text messages and call records. Song Yisher didn't contact anyone other than you that day. That doesn't prove anything, Qin Chu replied calmly. You are the only one who appeared at the time of her death. Anything else? We looked at the forensic report. There were wounds on Song Yisher's body. After analysis, we found that there were skin scraps left on your body. I told you that I had an argument with her. We had physical contact, so it's not strange that there were skin scraps. Yes, the thing that interests us the most is that you studied medicine in the 7 years you studied abroad in the States? So what if I did? Qin Chu replied coldly. We have reason to believe that you are not only an excellent CEO, but also an excellent doctor. You can dismember someone with such a difficult dismemberment technique. What a joke, what's your motive? Qin Chu sneered. Chapter 1513. We suspect that you were having an affair with Song Yisher. She recently threatened you and forced you to divorce your beloved wife. You were unhappy and couldn't come to an agreement. In the end, you fell out with her. You might have accidentally killed her. Or, you felt that you were impulsive and regretted that you cheated on your wife. At the same time, you hated her, so after killing her, you continued to dismember her body to vent your anger. You're saying that I cheated on Song Yisher? What a load of nonsense. Qin Chu thought that the police were really good at making up stories. Their stories were way too ridiculous. Take a look at this. He Hongfei took out a red diary and handed it to Huasiqian. Qin Chu took it and slowly opened the diary. Officer, he continued, this is Song Yisher's diary that we found in the bungalow. She recorded in detail your affair with her. You didn't want anyone to find out about it, so you did it very secretly. She loved you very much and kept threatening you with this, forcing you to divorce your wife. You were unhappy with her. We've already verified that this is Song Yisher's handwriting. Qin Chu felt a chill run down his spine when he saw this. He finally understood. He fell into a trap. He was set up by Huasiqian. This trap had been set up since the moment Huasiqian threatened him. Forcing him to divorce Huasiqian was just a facade. The real goal was to kill him. Murder was a capital offense, not to mention such a cruel method of dismemberment. Moreover, who was Song Yisher? She was Mayor Song's daughter. Now, he couldn't clear his name even if he jumped into the Yellow River. All the evidence linked together and pointed to Qin Chu as the biggest suspect. With so much evidence, he could go to trial immediately. What? Can't say anything? Officer, he glared at Qin Chu and asked coldly. No, I just feel that, at this point, I'm willing to accept my loss. Accept your loss? What do you mean? I was set up by someone. Would you believe me if I said that this was a trap set up by someone else? Qin Chu smiled helplessly. He had actually considered the possibility that Huasiqian would hire an assassin to assassinate him. However, no matter how much he thought about it, he could never have imagined that Huasiqian would do such a cruel thing. No matter how much he hated Song Yisher, there was no way he could dismember her. That was a fresh life, not a chicken or duckling that was at the mercy of others. Thinking about how Song Yisher had left in such a tragic way, Qin Chu's heart ached. Who designed this? He Hongfei seemed to be very interested in this. So what if I tell you? You won't believe me anyway. How would I know if you don't tell me? I'm guessing, at the time of Song Yisher's death, Huasiqian must have a witness, right? Huasiqian? Song Yisher's husband? He Hongfei froze. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He Hongfei continued, yes, Huasiqian's husband isn't very good. Recently, he's been fooling around with a superstar. Someone saw them drinking at Seductive Fox until midnight. Then, They drove a Rolls-Royce Phantom to Er's house and never came out. We saw the surveillance footage and can testify. He only found out about this when he received our notice this morning, and he was quite shocked. Of course, Qin Chu smiled bitterly. Huasiqian's plan was vicious and ruthless. Once again, he used a life as the price, leaving Qin Chu with no way to turn the tables. Do you suspect that Huasiqian did it? Officer, he asked. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.